Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. has shot down yet another high-altitude object. And we can just call it an unidentified flying object because they're not saying that it's a balloon, which, of course, it almost certainly is another balloon over Alaska. So, the first balloon from the most populous country in the world went over through Alaska and then all throughout Montana and the rest of the country. This is the second object flying at 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to safety of civilian flight. National Security Council official John Kirby said. This is NBC News. So this is taking place for a lot of reasons, ladies and gentlemen. They keep saying that the people, Democrats, media, pundits on the left. There was one really amazing, or hilarious, I should say, exchange where Patrick Ben-David on YouTube completely eviscerated a liberal pundit. Patrick Ben-David is fantastic. And he had a liberal pundit on there saying, and the liberal pundit was saying, the world respects Biden and the U.S. now. The antithesis of that statement is true. The adversaries in this world that we have do not respect this country. Now, what I mean by respect, I'm not talking about military might. We have the greatest military in the world under Biden also. With Trump, however, if this took place, first of all, it wouldn't have taken place. The invasion in Europe wouldn't have taken place. He would have pushed for a negotiated settlement prior to any hostilities. Before we spent tens of billions of dollars sending arms sales or acquired tens of billions of dollars in arms sales. Actually spent and then acquired the money eventually. That's it. It's a racket, these endless military conflicts. But anyway, he would have focused on a negotiated settlement so there was no invasion in Europe. It would never have happened under Trump. Then he would have addressed the issue, the economic issues. Notice how Biden did not reverse Trump's tariffs towards China. Okay, the Trump tariffs, the Trump tax cuts stayed. They have not been reversed by Congress. Then you get articles in late 2022, why Democrats haven't reversed the Trump tax cuts or the tariffs. Yet they were complaining about them for years and years. Everything Trump did was this apoplectic reaction by his political adversaries. But the reality is, foreign policy, Trump had a much better grasp, and it was a moral imperative to vote for Trump in 2020. A moral imperative. And now we're seeing here, ABC, U.S. shoots down high-altitude object over Alaska. It was a cylindrical and silverish gray. So, okay, that looks like a UFO, or that sounds like a UFO, but cylindrical and silverish gray could also be. That's interesting. It sounds like actually an unidentified flying object. But here, the White House said Friday that a high-altitude object has been shot down over Alaska. Could have been a variety of things. Very likely a balloon. Very likely another spacecraft or aircraft or some kind of high-altitude aircraft taking pictures, surveilling the country. The issue, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have a situation where the country is not only being disrespected, they're taking liberty with the fact that there are no economic repercussions. So Biden is not going to impose any tariffs. The only thing he'll do is against the Kremlin, and then he'll flood strategic petroleum reserves into the country. There will be no economic repercussions against China or against most other adversaries that we have. Okay, so you have to. The unidentified flying object that we've had in this above Alaska today is almost certainly tied to the first spy balloon. So there's a reason that we're having these There's a reason that we're having this crisis, this issue take place, okay? They don't care. The adversaries of this country do not fear economic repercussions, economic reprisals, diplomatic repercussions. They don't care about the alliance in Europe. They don't care about Biden or his foreign policy decisions. And they know with Trump that he was a wild card, that he was unpredictable, that he could have imposed even greater tariffs. The military option would have been on the table, which I'm against never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and endless military conflict. But with Trump, he was unpredictable, yet didn't want endless strife. We are 90 seconds to midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Under Biden's administration, we're seeing all of this take place before our very eyes. We're seeing all of this take place. Hit subscribe to this channel. This is breaking news. Hit subscribe. I will have a live stream on this in a couple of hours. We will talk about this. And we'll talk about Jim Jordan. We'll talk about the panel on the weaponization of the country against Republicans by Democrats, which is a fact. It's not an opinion. That is a fact. Just like it's a fact that we have adversaries who do not care about the country's response. They don't respect Biden at all. They disrespect the country. And I am not speaking from a military point of view. I'm speaking from a common sense, critical reasoning skill, logical point of view. They know that we have too many other interests than simply protecting the country under Democrats. Democrats have a host of interests. We have to worry about the planet. We have to worry about our alliances. We have to worry about multinational, non-governmental organizations. We have to worry about media. We have to worry about this and that and fundraising. Trump didn't worry about any of those things. That's why he got the Abraham Accords, the Doha Agreement. He was the first president to step foot in North Korea. He doesn't care. He doesn't need politics. He doesn't need endless, fundraising. He doesn't need that. He obviously he's fundraising. Obviously that's important to his political campaign, but he doesn't need that to survive. Biden and Hunter and their laptop showed clear violations of the law, and Democrats say, oh, well, it's just about his photos. Like, no, it's not. But here, there's nothing to do with his photos. The White House said on Friday that a high-altitude object has been shot down over Alaska. President Joe Biden ordered it to be shot down, adding the origin of the object is yet to be determined. That's bizarre, and that's a lie. We have an intelligence apparatus that's been leveled against Trump, $67+ billion, according to the Director of National Intelligence. And Trump is the biggest obstacle because Democrats have gained control through loyalists within the United States government to paint Trump as the big obstacle to national security. We have a spy balloon that was taken down after it crossed the United States of America, taking pictures, satellite photos, potentially geothermal satellite photos or pictures where you could see from the nuclear bases what's underground. Heaven forbid that took place. Or just tracking people, individuals. You could do that from tactical military balloons. And so you have a whole bunch of situations, ladies and gentlemen, that could have taken place with that spy balloon. Again, Democrats are in charge. We're 90 seconds to midnight. We're in charge for up until recently in the House, past month or so. And all they can talk about is, Pence now has classified data. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's going after Pence. Well, that's what takes place. You might not like Trump, but he was right about all these government agencies. Now Pence, the good Republican, is being targeted by the same government that targeted Trump. And they have to make everything morally relative. Now let's see if they try to say, well, the same thing happened under Trump. No, it didn't happen under Trump. None of this happened under Trump. But you didn't like his personality, so now we're just, every single day, we have things flying over the country, disseminating information or transmitting information to adversaries, almost certainly. He said it posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. Gee, you think? Reported that when fighters were scrambled, the pilots did visuals, got images, and there was no sign of the object had propulsion. Wow. So this does look like a cylindrical and silverish gray. It does look like hey, listen. They found a way to get a spy aircraft out there that looked like a UFO. And anyway, give me your thoughts below, or it's a UFO. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I have a live stream right now on this. And